All that is left is a post-apocalyptic planet where all people have perished after a catastrophic conflict between man and machine. The beginning of the film shows a scientist assembling a ragdoll while bemoaning the impending end of the planet. He completes the ragdoll by adding the number 9 on its back. 9 is dangling on a thin thread of a tattered rope when the line cracks, sending him down to the ground and causing him to open his eyes for the first time. After stumbling around and picking up a weird object that he feels compelled to, 9 realizes that the room in which he first came to existence is chaotic and lifeless. 9 looks out of a window and sees that the whole city is in ruins. He attempts to speak, but discovers that he is speechless. When 9 hears a sound and notices a light slowly approaching, he exits the first chamber and continues to wander across the deserted city. 9 hides behind some debris, takes up a metal rod, and waits, not knowing what to anticipate. 9 swings his bar, and it hits a monster that resembles him right as the light comes too near. The number 2 is inscribed on the back of the second ragdoll. He has a magnifying glass in front of his eyes and a candle holder on his head, giving him an elderly appearance. 9 tries to flee when 2 gasps at his presence, but stops as he calls out, "Wait, I'm a buddy." As 2 remains on the ground, 9 pauses and comes back to assist. 2 keeps staring at 9, admiring his creation. 9 is led to a broken doll on the side of the road by 2 when he realizes that he is unable to communicate. When 2 starts looking around, he discovers the doll's voice box and places it inside of 9's chest. 9 eventually talks after some minor modifications and says, "Friend." As it goes along, 2 finds something inside of 9 and takes the odd object out. It is subsequently identified as the talisman and has 3 symbols on a hemispherical base. When a loud noise is heard nearby, 2 orders 9 to hide behind a broken can while he keeps watch. 9 waits till a giant beast approaches and assaults him while carrying a spear. The beast sees the talisman and grabs it before shifting its focus to 9. 2 diverts the beast as it reaches with its claws for 9 inches away. The beast makes a turn and seizes 2. This enables 9 to locate a new hiding location and avoid detection. When the beast is unable to locate 9, it leaves. Now wounded with a ripped arm, 9 faints, and another ragdoll called 5 quickly finds his lifeless corpse. In what seems to be a covert location, 5 is mending up 9 when he awakens. He also discovers that his arm is in much better shape. Before the 2 can talk, an old ragdoll named 1 walks in and yells at 5 for bringing the beast to them. Also, there is a bigger ragdoll by the name of 8, who seems to be 1's lackey. 9 finds that they are inside a partially ruined church after climbing farther. There, 1 starts to tell the tale of how, in his knowledge, he and the other ragdolls came to be. In a flashback, 1 may be seen waking up for the first time during a furious conflict between man and machine. 5 loses his eye and is rescued by 2 as the ragdolls flee for their life to find refuge and escape the conflict. The conflict continued as the ragdolls were hiding, which they managed to accomplish just in time. The conflict was ultimately won by the machines. They detonated gas bombs that wiped out all life on Earth. Ruins, ragdolls, and the beast were all that left. Back in the present, a unique record maintained by 1 reveals to 9 that 3, 4, 7, and now 2 had been lost since the conflict, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. In another room, 6, who seems to be mentally ill, repeatedly sketches the picture of the talisman on paper as 1 orders 5 and 9 to walk to the watchtower. Through a telescope, 5 and 9 in the watchtower can make out a massive factory, which 9 knows as the location where the beast pulled 2. When 9 argues that 2 would have attempted to save him if the situations were reversed, 5 agrees and takes up a map. At first, 5 is hesitant to go rescue 2 as 9 proposes. The two ragdolls discover 2's candle holder headwear and his spear as they make their way to the factory. And 5 questions why 2 was out there by himself. 5 and 9 persevere despite a sandstorm blowing away their map, since they know they can't turn back. They find the beast's footsteps once the sandstorm has subsided and pursue it into a tunnel. They steal a headlight off a crashed vehicle since they need some light, and 9 makes a torch staff out of 2's spear. 5 remarks that 9's creation would have been loved by 2. Something with a beak discovers map 5 in the distance. After arriving at the plant, 5 and 9 start to stroll about when they come to a cage with 2 inside in it. He first seems to be dead, but gradually he awakens and expresses gratitude that they were able to save him. The 3 ragdolls are interrupted in their jubilation by a close sound. When 9 turns to look, he notices that the beast is attempting to place the talisman into a socket. The monster with beaks suddenly swoops in and beheads the beast as soon as the beast spots him and attacks him. The monster is revealed to be 7, whom 2 and 5 had previously believed to be dead. They introduce her to 9, who takes up the talisman and places it in the socket in the midst of their joyful reunion. The talisman starts to shine as 2 attempts to stop 9, but realizes what he is doing too late. It releases a powerful beam that strikes him in the face and drains his life essence. 2 collapses to the ground in a dead heap, and the rest flee without giving him a chance to be mourned. They all flee from a machine that the talisman awoke, a gigantic round object with a glowing red eye and limbs that seem sharp. Using 5's grappling rifle, which 7 had connected to a switch, the ragdolls are able to flee. Their combined weight pushes the switch as they swing towards safety, causing 7 to fumble for control. 7 is able to cling onto a ledge, while numbers 5 and 9 fall into a conveyor belt. The switch causes the conveyor belt with the numbers 5 and 9 on it to begin moving. As the machine approaches 7, prepared to assault her, they both fall to the ground. However, 5 and 9 divert the machine, and it now pursues them. In the tunnel, they are able to meet up with 7 while avoiding the machine. The 3 ragdolls escape as the machine attempts to pursue them into the tunnel, but can't because it's too big. Safely outside the facility, 5 laments the passing of 2, while 7 is indignant, with 9 for starting the entire situation with the talisman. She still acknowledges their desire for explanations and instructs them to follow her. In the meanwhile, a new beast is being created by the machine in the factory. A library containing books and sculptures is the destination that 7 leads 5 and 9. At 3 and 4, she calls, and twin ragdolls with hoods emerge. Despite being silent, they stare over at 9 with interest as their eyes scan him while it flashes nonstop. When the twins wake up with something hazardous, 7, who is requesting assistance, informs them. The twins use their eyeballs to transmit a video of what they had awakened. The machine, after 9 corrects 7 by informing them that it was really he who did so. It turns out that the scientist who developed them also built the machine, which he called the Brain, under orders. A tyrant wanted the machine for his war, since it had the ability to build more machines. The machine turned against mankind when he exploited the Brain to change the course of his battle. Despite destroying the planet, for some reason it slept off till 9 a.m., the 3 forms that were engraved on the talisman are drawn by 9, and 5 identifies them as what 6 keeps drawing. 7 declines to go back to the church because she doesn't like 1, but 9 asks to see him. When 5 and 9 go back to the chapel to visit 6, they are discovered by 8. 6 recognizes the forms 9 drew and labels them the source, but before 9 can inquire more about them, 1 orders that the 2 be locked up. 1 accuses the pair of dooming them all, but 9 asks him who sent 2 out alone to get caught, and 1 doesn't deny he did. 1 responds by calling 9 a coward and that he will go to any lengths to protect them. A short while later, the Brain's new beast, a winged, beaked monster that resembles a pterodactyl attacks the church. The beast strikes and sets the chapel on fire as the ragdolls run for safety. 7 leaps in and tries to strike the beast from behind after realizing that the other ragdolls are in danger but is unsuccessful. She tries once again, but the beast shoots at her leg and pulls her in. They are stopped in their tracks as 9 seizes her and stabs the beast's wing with 7's spear. When 8 comes to cut the rope, pulling 7, they begin to fall but quickly grab on. 1 stumbles, but 9 gets hold of him. The beast stretches out and grabs hold of the man's cape with its beak as he stops falling. When 1 unwillingly removes his cloak in response to 9's shout, the beast is sent tumbling to its demise. The ragdolls, who are now homeless, go to the library to live with 3 and 4, while a drone returns the beast's remnants to the brain. It gets enraged when it sees the wreckage, but quickly turns its attention to 2's corpse, which is still buried in the ruins of the plant. While the other ragdolls study the symbol designs on the talisman in the library, 8 is on the watch, and 1 becomes irritated and calls it dark science, while the other ragdolls study it. In response to 9 accusing him of attempting to murder 2, 1, who was also elderly and frail, acknowledges that 2 was sacrificed. In a fit of wrath, 7 leaps on 1, slitting his neck with a knife, but 9 talks her out of it, and she backs off. 9 chooses to go back to the first room, where he originally woke up in search of explanations. 8 hears something outside and turns to look around. His eyes light up as he observes 2 stand up, and he also notices that 8 is hypnotized. 1, startled by a sound in another room, notices 2 floating toward him. Like 8, the flashing eyes of 2 hypnotize him. It is revealed that a new snake-like beast is using 2's body as a distraction. With 8 already tied and stuffed inside it, the beast picks up 1 and starts to tie him up. The beast uses 2 to try to hypnotize 5 and 9 while they are trying to save 1, but 9 turns away. 5, on the other hand, is hypnotized and frozen in place. Fortunately for the group, 7 enters at that point and uses her spear to impale 2's body against a wall in order to stop the hypnotic flashes. She separates the beast from 2, but it seizes her. The beast retreats with 7 and 8 after 5 awakens and shoots it in the eyes. 9 informs 1 that 7 and 8 have been abducted by the snake beast and that they should go rescue them, but 1 declines. They convince 1 and then conduct the funeral rites for 2's body before leaving for the factory. When they arrive, 9 enters the factory by himself and orders 5 to destroy it if he doesn't return. 9 observes the beast giving 8 to the brain from within. The machine immediately expels the life force from the ragdoll, enhancing its own power. 9 attracts the beast's attention before it can hand over 7, causing it to put 7 back inside its body. The beast pursues 9 and starts tying him up after lunging at what it perceives to be a ragdoll. The beast doesn't realize that what he perceives as 9 is actually a trap that traps him in turning cogs. 9 is able to free 7 after being pulled by the cogs and slash at the beast's body, leaving it to be crushed to death. Outside, 1 and 5 get ready to push a barrel of fuel into the factory through the tunnel. While 5 fights to delay it until 9, 1 wants to complete it right away. A drone spots them both and shoots at it with the grappling gun of 5. They start to pull the drone down as the brain spots 7 and 9 inside. 1 and 5 become aware of the 2 as they are being pursued by mechanical spiders from the brain. The barrel is then lit and sent through the tunnel. The barrel falls, just missing numbers 7 and 9. The factory bursts into flames a short while later, but the ragdolls are safe. The ragdolls started to celebrate with a record player after they believed they had killed the brain. He observes that the brain is still alive as 5 attempts to break a record. He is being pursued up the hill, and 9 tries to run to 5's aid, but 1 stops him. 5 is grabbed by the brain, who drains him of all life force. 6 realizes that what was taken were the souls of the deceased ragdolls as they rush through a crumbling bridge leading to the brain. The brain climbs the bridge and runs after the ragdolls, but the bridge is unable to support its weight. The ragdolls seize the chance to kill the brain when the bridge collapses beneath it. Now that 9 is aware that the souls of the deceased ragdolls are imprisoned inside the brain, 9 tries to stop them. Before his soul is sucked away, the brain falls, but he is able to grab onto 6. He cries out that they should go to the first room. 9 returns to the first room by himself, while the others are more focused on destroying the brain. He discovers everything there, as well as a letter from the scientist who created them. Knowing how to permanently disable the brain, he returns to the ragdolls who were occupied with attempting to kill the brain. The talisman must be removed from the brain, as 9 instructs them to do, which he tries to do. After a massive explosion, 9 confronts the brain, but before he is exhausted, 1 steps in and offers himself as a sacrifice. 9 takes advantage of the opening to take the talisman from the brain. The brain screams as the souls are transferred into the talisman and explode as 9 presses the symbols in the learned sequence. The ragdolls that are left start a fire, assign 5 spots for their deceased friends, label them with numbers, and 9 press a series of buttons on the talisman. Their souls are released one by one before rising into the sky together. For the first time in ages, rain starts to fall as the green light from the souls permeates the sky. A closer look reveals tiny green microorganisms, which suggests that life will once again flourish on Earth. Turn on the notification, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to like and comment. I'm grateful.